Welcome to another edition of Sci-Fi Journal presented by the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club. This show is for February 2015. I'm Marc Morisseau. Also hosting the show today are Calvin Watts III, Jay Kingston, James Hinsey, and a special guest this month, Chuckles the Clown. Say hello, Chuckles.
Hello, thank you very much.
All right, Chuckles was nice enough to have us on his show in December.
Nice.
What?
Well, you can be.
Chuckles was awful enough to have us on the show.
Much better. Much better.
He was really, really bad, and so we decided to punish him and have him on our show this month. So,
By the time we're through with the show, you will be definitely punished.
yes, that's right. So,
Ooh, I look forward to that.
Chuckles, it's rotten to see you. Here we go. Okay. As always, we talk about the wonderful world of... Oh, wait a minute. Before we start, my head, all shiny and stuff. So my hat of the month, here we go, is going to be for... Andromeda. That was a TV series that ran from 2000 to 2005. It was syndicated, starred Kevin Sorbo, and he was in charge of the Andromeda Ascended. There was an old Gene Roddenberry series. It was picked up season 4 by the Sci-Fi Channel, and you can catch it on Netflix or DVD, whatever. Good show. Check it out.
All right, let's just jump right in. This month we've got a Mad Max reboot coming out called Mad Max Fury Road, and this stars Tom Hardy and the lovely Charlize Theron. It's rated R, and it's going to be released on May 15th of this year. And basically it's Mad Max, so you already know the plot.
It's a reboot.
It's a reboot. So let's roll that footage.
It's the oil, stupid. It's the oil.
Security forces will use all measures.
The world is almost out of water.
Water wars.
We are killing for gasoline.
Getting close to the terminal freakout point.
My name is Max. My world is fire and blood.
Want to get through this? Let's go! What's your name?
And Charlize Theron, even with one arm, still looks sexy.
Why did I know you were going to come out with something
I know,
like that?
she does.
But it's got a lot of flavor of Road Warrior, you know.
Yes, it
versus
does.
the original Mad Max, yeah.
Yep. And it looks, I mean, the machines are what gets me.
Right.
You know, these guys riding on the top of an engine.
You wish you could have those machines in real life down 95.
Oh yeah, really.
Awesome. Yep.
And Tom Hardy's an excellent actor, so this really looks good.
Right.
A lot of hype behind
Now,
it.
Mel Gibson doesn't do a cameo in this, does he?
Kind of hoping at least once.
Yeah.
The original to have some of the guys in there.
Next we have the Ant-Man, the Marvel Comics hero. And this one stars Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly. And there's a guest appearance in it by Michael Douglas, apparently. And the show is not rated at the moment. And the premiere on this is July 17th, 2015. It's about a man who can turn himself into the size of an ant with all the proportionate strength of an ant. And he still retains, you know, like kinetic energy and things like that, the size of a human.
So he can shrink, but he can still open jars.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm sure you'll have him over your house quite a bit.
That's right.
Because you have such weak wrists. Anyway.
Wait a minute, how do you know that?
I've been there. I've had to open jars.
This is what I have to put up with on a monthly basis.
Now, you have a problem with this movie.
I do have a big problem with this
let's
movie.
hear it.
First of all, one of the very few Marvel stories I read is Ant-Man, and he's one of my favorite Avengers. And they are totally going out of storyline with this. They're not even starting with the original Ant-Man. They're starting with the guy that stole his suit.
Right.
So the original Ant-Man's actually Yellow Jacket. And they have him playing the villain, and they got this dude that's totally out of line. They're not even starting at where it's supposed to be at. And kind of upsets me with the new Avengers a little bit, because with Ultron and everything, and Ant-Man's still not in there.
Right.
And Ant-Man's one of the original Avengers, and they're just like, here he is.
And he's the guy who created Ultron.
Yeah, he created Ultron with Iron Man. So it's like they've totally gone off story basis with that. I'm not going to bash it so far. We'll see what it's like. See if they also add in the growing suit, because not only is Ant-Man able to shrink, he's also able to enlarge himself.
Become
like
giant.
Yes, so we'll see if they put that in there.
Right.
Well, hopefully I know there was some rumors about them doing some post-shooting on the Avengers Age of Ultron, so hopefully it'll have some Ant-Man tie-in with that, explain some of that stuff away. But I agree with you. It's totally off of the older, how the original Marvel fans know about Hank Pym and that whole story.
Yeah, they're missing two of the main characters when they started this off, Wasp and Ant-Man.
Right.
They're two of the original Avengers.
Well, let's see what the audience out there thinks of it. Let's roll that footage.
Scott, I've been watching you for a while now. You're different. Now, don't let anyone tell you that you have nothing to offer. Second chances don't come around all that often. I suggest you take a really close look at it. This is your chance to earn that look in your daughter's eyes, to become the hero that she already thinks you are. It's not about saving our world. It's about saving theirs. Scott, I need you to be the Ant-Man.
Huh. One question. Is it too late to change the name?
Okay. Next, we have Ex Machina, or Machine, the machine. And this one stars, oh boy, Domhnall Gleeson and Oscar Isaac. And it's not rated. And the release date for this one is April 10th of this year. And this story basically is about a man who creates an android, a female android. And he wants to see how she reacts in different situations, so he arranges for her to get together with this man, and he puts her in this situation so that he can see how she develops emotionally. And that's where the movie takes off. So let's roll that footage and see what that's all about.
So how does a programmer get to be meeting the CEO? I won a competition. The president can't get Mr. Garrick on the phone. You got the golden ticket.
It's good to meet you, Nathan.
It's good to meet you too, Caleb. Can we just get past the whole employer-employee thing?
Cheers. In many ways, this building isn't a house. It's a research facility. I want to talk to you about the greatest scientific event in the history of man.
Are you building an AI?
Hello.
Hi.
I've never met anyone new before. Have you?
None like you. She's incredible.
The challenge is to show you that she's a robot and then see if you still feel she has consciousness.
Do you want to be my friend?
Of course.
Will it be possible?
Why would it not be? Have you never been outside this building?
We could go together.
Did you program her to flirt with me?
Do you think about me? If you lie, I will know.
No.
Lie.
Maybe she's pretending to like you.
Well, why would she do that?
Do you think I might be switched off?
It's not up to me.
Why is it up to anyone? You shouldn't trust Nathan. You shouldn't trust anything he says.
I think it's the next model that's going to be the real breakthrough.
Well, what do you do with the old one?
You have to help me.
One day the AIs are going to look back on us, upright apes, all set for extinction.
Is it strange to have made something that hates you?
What were you doing with Ava?
Okay, and last but not least, we've got Jurassic World, starring our buddy Chris Pratt.
Yep.
And Bryce Dallas Howard. No rating on this one, and it comes out June 12th, 2015.
I imagine it'll probably be like PG-13, so all the kids can make it, or at least PG.
Well, I'm thinking PG-13, but maybe if there's going to be a lot of gore.
Yeah, because getting eaten by dinosaurs is not pretty.
No, it's not.
Now, my history, if I remember right, Jurassic Park is a reason for PG-13. Because when that came out, it was on that border.
Oh,
they didn't want it being
Oh.
PG or R, so
Yeah.
they came up with a new list in PG-13.
Right.
Because before that, Jaws was rated PG.
Mm.
Well, if you look back at the old stuff, and that would probably
Wow.
be rated R in today's thing. So that was Spielberg's doing the first movie to become PG-13.
Yep.
So it probably will be PG-13.
Mm.
If you ever want to see something entertaining, and I'm evil in the most part, we went and saw Jurassic Park 3D in the big screen, and all the people brought their little kids that were 6, 5,
Right.
4. You want to see a mass exit of little kids? Put that movie on.
There you go.
Yeah.
Scary.
Not so kid-friendly, is it?
It's delightful.
Well, this one picks up 20 years or so after the original Jurassic Park, and La Isla, whatever the name of the place is now a full-fledged running dinosaur amusement park exactly as the vision of the creator had it. But attendance is starting to fall off, and the corporate board decides to add a new feature, and that's when things go horribly wrong.
Jeez. Who could have imagined? All right.
I hate when that happens. I know you love when that
I love it.
I love when that happens.
I'm going to volunteer my services for a clown for this park. Sounds entertaining. They won't eat me. I taste funny.
So let's take a look at that footage and see what it's all about.
I'm really proud of you for going on this trip. You're gonna have so much fun. And remember, if something chases you, run.
We have learned more in the past decade from genetics than a century of digging up bones. A whole new frontier has opened up. We have our first genetically modified hybrid.
You just went and made a new dinosaur?
Probably not a good idea. Almost 40 feet high. Really think she climbed out?
Depends.
On what?
What kind of dinosaur they cooked up in that lab. Evacuate the island. She's a highly intelligent animal. She will kill anything that moves.
Oh, God.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all I've got this month for Popcorn Previews.
That's it, man. It's game over, man. It's game over.
So it being February, the new releases for home video are few and far between, but we do have a couple of, and it's funny that Chuckles is here, or maybe not so funny, maybe it's coincidence that there are a bunch of horror-related titles coming out. So on February 3rd, we're going to have a bunch of Studio Ghibli re-releases, and these are, if I'm pronouncing these correctly, Porco Rosso, and Tales from Earthsea. Studio Ghibli, as James has talked about many times, a really cool animation studio out of Japan, of some really beautiful stuff they put out, so it'd be worth checking out. Also coming out this day are the two of the bigger horror releases over the past 6 months. The Dracula reboot, Dracula Untold, which got mixed reviews. I haven't had the chance to see it yet, but I have some interest in seeing it. And universally panned as one of the worst films of the year, Ouija, based on, the game.
Ouija board.
I mean, and for a bunch of people who are horror fans to basically crack on that game, or crack on that movie, that's not a good sign. Have you seen either one of those?
I refuse to see the Dracula one because they're making him a superhero instead of the villain that he is. So I won't watch that because I don't like when they take a villain and they try to make him into being a good guy. I understand where they're going with this. I just don't. And playing with Ouija boards, either on movies or whatnot, I've never found that entertaining. So I don't know who has the copyrights on that, either Parker Brothers or whatnot.
I think it is
I think
Parker
it's
Brothers.
But I
Hasbro
just
owns that
don't
one.
find that, and the actors, they really didn't catch me, the actresses on that one. So I'm not really interested. I will probably watch the Dracula one that's free.
Right.
That's probably when I'll catch that.
Moving on to the 10th, the latest Lego DC movie is going to be out, and it's going to be the Justice League versus the Bizarro League. The Lego DC movies have been pretty cool, surprisingly. Not quite in the realm of the DC Universe stuff, but it's still fun to watch nonetheless. And a couple of classic horror suspenseful movies coming out. Re-releases, of course. There's one from the early 70s called Don't Look Now, starring Donald Sutherland. That's worth checking out. And a really classic early 70s Italian zombie film called The Beyond. You want to talk about gore? If gore is what you like, this movie is right up your alley.
Yeah.
Got to see that.
They emptied out the butcher shop to make that movie. Right.
On the 17th, we'll have Game of Thrones Season 4. A lot of people will be looking forward to that. And the latest Doctor Who special, the Doctor Who Last Christmas, will be available on that date.
Good.
And last but not least, on the 24th, the Sons of Anarchy final season, Season 7, will be out, as well as the classic animated film Watership Down as part of the latest part of the Criterion Collection.
Oh, all right.
So, all right, moving on to gaming news. I finally put in The Evil Within and started playing through that. That's the game from Bethesda Softworks, and the creator of the Resident Evil series is behind this one. And the premise is, I mean, you got to throw a plot like outside the door because the plot's like crazy, but it's really cool. You should get, if you haven't heard anything about this, basically you're a police officer and you're getting called to, there's a problem in a mental hospital. There's been shots fired, there are homicides, and there are a bunch of people that are killed. So it's pretty cool. I would highly recommend it from my limited experiences so far. Okay, moving on. Destiny, the Crota's End, has been out for like mixed reviews.
Oh, that's the
latest
edition?
DLC. That's the
Okay.
edition. It's been fun, but there's going to be, it looks like, a massive expansion. There'll be another DLC release in March called The House of Wolves, and then come September, it's going to be like a huge, like a separate piece of expansion that'll probably run at like 40 hours. So it's kind of like a World of Warcraft update. And we'll have more news on that when it happens. Now, if you remember a few months back, we were talking about, we got from the really nice people at Blue Goji, we got the Blue Goji controllers.
Yep.
And
We got swag from Blue
We got
Goji.
swag, and
We
we
got
have just
swag.
been so busy, we haven't really had a chance to check that out. But I've been playing around with it, and it's really kind of hard to do like a demonstration of stuff in studio, but I wanted to show you guys just what it basically is. If you have like an iPad or an iPhone, it's basically a Bluetooth connector.
All right.
And if you look at these are little like hand sensors. You have like a little, these can go on to like if you have like a stationary treadmill, they can go on like the sides. And there's like 4 buttons there, or depending on they have different games, there's a little sensor here, so it detects movement. So kind of like a mix between the Kinect sensor and like the Wii sensors. And so they have all sorts of games that you can download from like the iTunes app page.
Right.
And you can track your workouts, you can do all sorts of stuff. They've gone into some of the gyms and they have agreements with the gyms to do this stuff. So it's kind of something to do and have some interactivity while you're working out.
Right.
It works with some existing games. It works pretty well with the Pinball Arcade, and it's really neat. So
Cool.
it's Blue Goji, GOJI.com if you want to have some more information. And thank you very much to the guys for bringing it.
Wait a minute. Science fiction fans and working out? Does that even exist?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It does somewhere.
Right. And the guy from Blue Goji who sent it to us watches our show out in Los Gatos, California. So, yeah, thank you very much.
So thank you very much, guys. Definitely work it and highly recommend it.
Awesome.
Okay, moving on to my favorite topic, pinball. And it's kind of funny, again, a lot of horror or related stuff coming out.
I know, it's awful.
The table that came out for January is Starship Troopers, which is based on the really cool Paul Verhoeven movie of the late 90s.
That was a good movie.
That was a great
It was
movie.
schlocky, but it was a good movie.
Okay, maybe as an alien bug movie, but not as a Robert Heinlein
No,
Starship Troopers story.
Yes, you
Okay.
take all that out of the way.
No.
You take it in its own right. It was fun.
No, but if you had done the story as the Heinlein story, it would have been too political. It would have been.
Yep.
It would have really dragged.
That's true, but they only bought the name to make their bug movie.
Right.
Right.
They didn't. Yeah.
Anyways.
So we got a good bug movie out of it.
It's a good pinball game. If you've never had the chance to play it, you should go play it up at it. There is one, I believe, at the Pinball Wizard Arcade up in Pelham, New Hampshire, which I am going to be going to this month because I just found out they also have a table by Ben Heckendorm. I don't know if I'm saying that right. His name is Ben Heck for short. He's the guy, if you've ever seen the videos about how he's taken like an Atari 2600 or an Xbox 360 and made it into like this little portable thing. Well, he made an arcade pinball machine called America's Most Haunted. It's very limited. There's only 250 of them ever been made, and one of them is up there. So I'm definitely going to go check it out.
Okay.
This month's pinball table with Pintastic New England coming up on July 10th and 11th, 2015, which I also just found out happens to be the same weekend as Kineticon.
So we got to work on that.
So we are going to be busy that weekend. But the Addams Family is the most iconic pinball machine of all time. It sold over 20,000 copies of the table. If you go to any place that has more than 2 or 3 pinball machines, you're almost guaranteed to find one there, even today. It's the most popular table for a reason. It happens to be this month's table on the Pinball Arcade, and it's a table we are featuring from Gabe's collection this month, so here's that footage. Now, we talked about this table at length through the Pinball Arcade, and this is the actual real-life version. This is the Addams Family, the most popular pinball table of all time with over 20,000 sold in existence. And there's a reason why it's popular. It took based on a 90s movie with Raul Julia, and they integrated the theme of the movie into the pinball machine. Very, very nice. So why is this in your collection?
Well, this is just Pat Lawler is one of my favorite designers. They threw everything into this game. A lot of stuff. Very fun to play. It's got 4 flippers. It's got 2 out holes. It has the thing hand that grabs the ball, magnets. It's got magnets for throw the ball around during the multi-ball. Very fun. And it's very difficult to find. I looked for a game like this game for 2 years to try and find a game that had no wear, no mansion wear, and finally I was able to locate one. And I pulled the whole thing apart, put all Cliffy protectors on it, changed the ramps, did all LEDs. It came out beautiful. This game is not going anywhere.
And last but not least, PAX East is early this year. It's March 6 to 8, 2015. And I have to admit, I was at work and I was not able to get tickets. This is going to be probably the first PAX that I'm not able to go.
Right.
I am in the process of applying for media passes, so we'll see how that goes. I'm really hoping that I'm going to be able to cover it, but we will let you know next month.
Okay, Last Man on Earth is a new Fox series premiering Sunday, March 1st. Saturday Night Live alumni Will Forte stars as Phil Miller, who fears he is the last man on Earth and searches for human companionship. And you can go online and watch a clip. It's a pretty cool show. It's a comedy.
Yeah.
Okay. It's pretty neat. There's one clip where he gets one of those portable microphones and walks in the middle of Dodger Stadium and starts singing the national anthem, but there's nobody around, you know. So it's supposed to be a comedy series. March 1st, watch for that on Fox. And because it's on Fox, it'll probably last like 2 weeks. So we'll see what happens. All right, Netflix is doing a Daredevil series. It has a start date. The show will have the first complete season starting Friday, April 10th, 2015. Are you familiar with the Daredevil series?
I'm familiar with Daredevil, one of my least favorites from Marvel, and especially after that movie they put out.
Oh, yeah.
That was god-awful. And lowered my opinion on him even more.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with this one. All right, Agent Carter. Have you seen that show on ABC?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you like it? Did you hate it?
It was a lot of fun.
It was good.
It was.
A lot of action. She really, she's like a full-on action hero there. Yeah.
This is Agent Carter, a character that was introduced in the Captain America movie. The star, Haley Atwell, thinks future Agent Carter series, if they do have them, should be set in other decades. That would be interesting to explore, like 50s, 60s, and even the 1980s. Because in the second Captain America movie, we see her as an elderly woman, and we find out she's been married and raised a family and all that stuff. But she's thinking it would be nice to see her working as Agent Carter all through the years. So that'd be cool. All right. Oh, by the way, Agent Carter Review got higher ratings than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did when it first premiered.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
So it did very well. Game of Thrones, you mentioned this before, the season 5 premieres April 12th at 9 p.m. on HBO, season 5 of Game of Thrones, if you're big Game of Thrones fans. Speaking of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., a couple of things. Battlestar Galactica's Edward James Olmos is joining Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as a character who will have massive repercussions on the TV show in season 2. So we'll see what happens with them. And there's a rumor that Jeremy Renner will be making an appearance as Hawkeye during an episode of Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., which returns on March 3rd, 2015. Funky, cool, and groovy, I think. What else? Thunderbirds. If you're old enough to remember the old Thunderbirds series.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, from ITV. Thunderbirds Are Go. They're reviving that series. It's a revival of the 50-year-old British TV show, this time using a combination of CGI and live-action sets with the help of the Weta Workshop, the people who did The Hobbit. Okay? Thunderbirds Are Go will air on ITV sometime in 2015.
And that'll be FAB.
It'll be FAB, yes. Okay. We did a Thunderbirds marathon at the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club one month. That was a lot of fun. And then finally, Jenna Coleman, who plays Clara Oswald on Doctor Who, will return for season 9, which airs sometime in 2015. There were some rumors that they might kill her off at the end of the Christmas episode, but they decided to keep her on. She decided to stay, so we'll see some more of Miss Clara, which would be nice too. That'll be
She's
good.
one of my favorites.
Yeah, she's doing a good job with that show, which is good. All right, so that's all I have this month for TV news. Let's move on to the wonderful world of anime with something we call Anime Daisuki with James Hinsey. Go, James, go.
If you watch Crunchyroll, if you go on Crunchyroll...
Hang on, it's an hour show, just to let you know.
I know.
Okay.
They are now streaming the live-action tokusatsu series Ultraman 80. If you've ever seen the Ultraman TV show, there was one that was produced out of Australia, but with the Japanese effects. It's a superhero who can grow to like building size and then fight the kaiju monsters at that giant size. And they've had about... well, there's like over a dozen different Ultramen in Japan. But in terms of series, there's been about a dozen of them. And Ultraman 80 was one. I used to watch Ultraman Leo in 1974 when I was in Japan for the summer. Right. So he transforms into a 50-meter tall warrior, Ultraman 80. And all the costumes are all very red and silver and gray, in different styles and different helmets and eyes that light up, and and a lot of karate moves. On
like
Toonami, Toonami's added Inuyasha, the final act, 26 episodes, sort of the ending and closing of the Inuyasha series. They've brought that back on after they had this December movies. And then they've also bring back Dead Man Wonderland and IGPX. IGPX is a co-production with an American company. And they're replacing Full Metal Alchemist and The Big O with those two. And they're restarting Cowboy Bebop in the high-definition version on Toonami, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim. Let's see, Toho is now going to produce a new Godzilla movie in Japan. Yes, there will be a new Godzilla coming out in 2016.
Okay.
And part of it is because of the success of the Edwards film that came out last year. And that one made over $470 million in the U.S. itself. And then we have one more thing from Rhode Island Comic Con. I was able to do an interview with Vic Mignogna from Star Trek Continues. Star Trek Continues is a Star Trek fan film that he's been producing, and he plays Kirk. He does a very Shatner-esque Kirk. And the 3 episodes they've done so far have been really good. The first one has Apollo as a return role. Michael Forrest, the actor who played him in the original Star Trek series, plays Apollo again, but seems to be a much older version. And then another episode called Lolani has Fiona Vroom and Lou Ferrigno as an Orion slave trader.
Yep.
Lou Ferrigno is all painted green again as an Orion slave trader. And then the coolest one I find is this one called Fairest of Them All. They take the Mirror Mirror episode, and then they basically show you what happens after the evil ones go back to the Mirror Universe. So it's evil Kirk versus evil Spock in the Mirror Universe, and a whole episode with that. And they have actress Asia DeMarcos, who plays the Barbara Luna character in that episode, and she looks great, and she does a really great job as that character from the original series, and looks a lot like Barbara Luna. And now they're going to start off a new Kickstarter with for their episode 4 this month. And so here's the interview from Rhode Island Comic Con with Vic Mignogna. And it's my great pleasure to talk to Vic Mignogna of much anime fame with the Full Metal Alchemist, both the original and the Brotherhood series, and many others that he's done, and stuff I'm watching on Toonami now that I hadn't seen before he's on. But my first love, and his, is also Star Trek, the original series. And
Absolutely.
And he's produced a series called Star Trek Continues. Tell me about how that started.
Well, like you, when I was a little boy, I absolutely lived for the original series of Star Trek. And over the years, I've spent the last 4 decades of my life developing skills in acting and production, shooting, editing, camera work, lighting, makeup, costumes, set building, all of the things necessary to make a production. And I decided about 1.5 years ago that I was going to merge my childhood love with all of the skills that I've been developing over my life and make a Star Trek production that picks up right where the original series left off and continues the 5-year mission. But I wanted it to be better than the other things that I've seen. You know, I've seen other fan series, and they're nice guys and they mean well, but they're not actors and they're not production people. And I always felt like it could be done at a much higher level. So my goal was always to try to do that, to raise the production level and do something really, really extraordinary. So I put together a team of people that I love, who are talented, skillful artists, and we've made 3 episodes so far. Pick up right where the original series left off, and that's what we're trying to do.
Your take on the Mirror Mirror universe was great. It just, picked up right where it left off. Who developed that idea?
That was my idea. That was my story. And then once I wrote the story, I wrote the script with James Kerwin, and myself wrote the script, and then James directed the episode.
Yes.
So it turned out really, really good. I was very excited about that one in particular.
Yeah. And I also enjoyed, how's it said, Iolani?
Lolani.
Oh, Lolani, that's it, Lolani.
I
think it really covered a lot of issues, especially with women.
Well, like sex trafficking and and that kind of thing. I feel exactly the same way. We wanted to tell a story of weight and something that was an issue that even is dealt with today. And so that's what we did with Lolani. It's about an Orion slave girl who stows away on the Enterprise, and she's looking for asylum. She doesn't want to be returned to the slave trade. And her owner comes out after her to claim his property. And her owner is played by none other than Lou Ferrigno, the Hulk. And he's actually green again.
Yes.
So how perfect is that?
I know. Your casting, too, has been perfect. I mean, James Doohan's son as Scotty, it was a great choice, and very lucky to get him.
Yeah.
Lou Ferrigno is great. And all the other actors that you've gotten, It's great. Can you tell me about this?
Well, from the very beginning, I think one of the main things, if you ask anybody, what's one of the biggest shortcomings of fan productions? Most people would say the acting. It's like it's just hard to watch, you know? Because they mean well. Like I say, they're fanboys. They mean well, but they don't have any skill or training or background in acting or experience. So you can only tell so many stories. You can only go so deep.
Right.
If you've got actors that are not actors. They're just kind of fans running around going, hey, we're firing phasers and we're fighting the Klingons. Well, no, Star Trek wasn't about that. Star Trek was about much deeper stories and social themes and ethical, moral dilemmas. And those are the stories we want to tell. And I'm sorry, but you got to have actors to do those kind of stories. And so that's why I chose the people I chose.
They've all done really well. Also, the cinematography really is like the original. I can't tell the difference.
Matt Busey is our DP, and he is an absolute genius. From the very beginning, he and I talked about making it look as much like the original as we possibly could.
And the other thing I noticed too was, the music choices too, fitting in right in the timing. It's really great editing.
Thank you. You know, I write and produce music professionally. So the music part of it was very important to me. As we're shooting an episode, in my mind, I'm thinking about what piece of music I'm going to use for this moment.
Right.
And if the moment did not exist, in many cases, in all 3 episodes, I actually wrote and composed and produced music myself, original music for the series. So music is extremely important in my opinion, and we've done the best we could to integrate that as best we could.
I've also been enjoying Starship Farragut for several years.
Yes.
And I know you guys are working with them. You know, the sets are also, you're sharing that.
Yes. Farragut, actually, we partnered up with Farragut after I directed an episode for them about 2.5 years ago. And we really hit it off, and I really liked the guys, and they liked me. And so I said, you know what? Why don't we pool our resources and do more than we could ever do by ourselves? So we built the sets together, and they shoot their production there, and we shoot our production there. And you know, I run around the country, and whenever I talk about Star Trek Continues, I usually talk about Farragut as well and let people know about them. They're good guys, and we really enjoy working with them.
I'm looking forward to seeing the next episode.
Me too.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Me too. Thank you so much. Thanks.
All right, so now we're on to the next thing, cover to cover with, well, basically all of us, including our special guest, Chuckles.
But this month, we'll talk comics, because Chuckles likes comics. Marvel's Secret Wars, coming out in May of 2015. It's pretty much, time runs out, everything ends. The Secret Wars commence in May 2015 from Jonathan Hickman and Esad Ribic. That's who's presenting. Any idea about Marvel or Secret Wars? They've done Secret Wars before, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. This sounds like they're rebooting it again, which they already did with the Ultron series a couple years ago, where he wiped out everything, and nothing was really rebooted. It was just reintroduced to the younger crowds.
Right.
So it'd be kind of neat to see if they actually reboot stuff and put some new characters inside this. Because Marvel, story-wise, they're good at creating their characters and giving them backstories, but they're not good at keeping you locked in. They're wanting to keep reading those. Perfect example, the new Hulk that came out. First 5 books were tedious and hard to get through. But once you got through those first 5, it picked up. Where personally, if you pick up a DC book, it's actually pretty spontaneous. It's almost like you're jumping into the movie itself, and it's ready to rock with the characters. But it'd be interesting to see what they do with this. If they actually do a reboot, or they're just going to recycle the characters again.
Right, yeah, because I know there's talk about this Secret Wars. There's like old Captain America is going to be fighting new Captain America, that type of thing.
Right, they had like a map that they had of like the Secret Wars planet they're going to be on, and they have like some of the locations and stuff they listed on a map, and they're taking stuff from like everything.
Right.
Old timelines, new timelines. I think the Ultimate Universe it has some stuff in there. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all mixes and matches and gets them all together.
And it's interesting because they're competing with DC, who's pretty much doing the same thing with a series called Convergence, which starts in April of this year. All the DC universes are captured by a villain named Telos, and they must fight each other for supremacy. So you've got Earth 2 DC characters versus the present day. So you have all the Flashes fighting up against each other, and characters that the new 52 timeline killed off. They're bringing those guys back, and those guys will be fighting each other, and eventually they're paring down all their books. For example, all the Green Lantern titles are going down to just 2. So there's going to be all the GL titles except Green Lantern and Sinestro are canceled, but they're combining a lot of different comic books for Convergence. You know, seems to me they did something like that way back in the 80s, didn't they? With Crisis on Infinite Earth.
They did.
Yep. They tried to clean it up. Okay. Marvel has a new Star Wars comic that premiered on January 14th, based between episodes 4 and 5. So Marvel and Disney are taking no chances. They're heading right into this new comic book.
Kind of disappointed. Not the fact that Marvel got it back, it's the fact that they were getting ready to release a Star Wars meeting the Aliens franchise in the Dark Horse, and they totally scrapped that.
Yeah. Oh,
and I got really excited to see those universes collide.
Right.
Disney won't do that.
No.
They won't bring those creatures into those.
And if you're a big fan of the Dark Horse Star Wars comics, now is the time to pick them up because they're discounting everything. Like all the online stuff, all the trades, all the comic books and stuff. They're just reducing everything to get rid of it, try to make up their income since they lost that license. Okay, and then this next thing I thought about you, Boom Comics has started a series based on Escape from New York.
Oh, that's awesome.
There are at least, as we tape, there are 2 issues into it. Snake Plissken doing his old antics once again, which is a lot of fun. You might want to pick up.
Is it set after the movie, before the movie?
I think it's set up after the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, that should be cool. Which brings me to the question, what are you guys reading? What are you reading?
A whole lot of nothing right now. I've been reading some backstory stuff. I've never actually read the Age of Ultron series, and to get in touch with the upcoming Avengers movie, I just started reading that. I've also been keeping up on Grayson, which has been an excellent title for the DC universe.
Right.
Which is pretty cool. Even though he's not Nightwing anymore, Dick Grayson as a secret spy actually kind of works.
Right.
Yeah,
which is
found
crazy
it kind of
weird.
frees him up actually to do things.
Yeah. So that's basically it.
Okay, Chuckles, what are you reading?
A little of everything, but my favorite is the DCU's version of Masters of the Universe. He-Man.
Oh, all right.
When they took that back over, it's awesome. It's like, you know, my third childhood when I was resurrected from the dead.
Right.
I loved He-Man.
Was it only third? How many times? I think
Too many. Let's not go down those
now.
road.
Yeah.
But that was one of my favorite stories, and it's kind of neat to see that DC has made that book evolve with the people that read it. So it's no longer, He-Man's not childish.
No.
Like Adora slicing He-Man's throat. That's not something you'd see in the comic.
Right.
I mean, on the cartoon. So when you read that, you're like, oh my God, this just happened.
This is awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
one of my favorite series they just put out, and people are already starting to hoard it, is Masters of the Universe versus DC Universe.
Right.
That was incredible. They could have done some more with the villains, but they didn't. Just a little shocker for the people if you pick it up. Superman does not end well with He-Man, and that's going to make a lot of Superman fans very upset.
Right.
But that's a really good series. One of my other favorite series is Marvel puts out. I do like Marvel. Is they had the Origins of Thanos before it went into the Infinity Wars.
Okay.
That was really good.
I'm reading Grayson. I've found out, like I said, that he's been freed up to really develop his character as Dick Grayson as a character himself, and he still answers to Batman.
Right.
On the sly.
Whether he wants to or not, right?
Right, right. But he's hooked up with this organization called Spiral, and he's inside there trying to find out what they're all about. I'm also reading Cyclops. I'm reading Flash. I'm reading X-Men. And I'm happy with all those titles right now.
Good. All right. Now you got a comic book to push.
Yeah. one of the interviews we did at Rhode Island Comic Con was with Ramon Gil, and he gave me a couple of his issues here. It's Sci-Fi's catalog, and another one here called The Hardcore. And these are kind of anthologies. It's best to just check out the video and the interview because he explains it all. I'm here with Ramon Gil of Sci-Fi's catalog. He's a comic book writer. Tell me about your comic books.
Well, it's an anthology. I'm on issue 2 already. Issue 1 came out, Issue 1 came out I think in August or July, and now we're on issue 2. Issue 1 was, we had the cover drawn by Rudy Nebrez, who was actually very popular back in the 70s, so it's a very nice cover. There are a bunch of stories in there. Some of these have already been accepted to some anthologies coming out in the wintertime. Issue 2, the cover was drawn by Len Peralta out of, I think, Cleveland. This issue 2, issue 1. And lead story is Men from DARPA about a bunch of government scientists who keep getting into these situations with spies and things like that. And they have to use their science to get themselves out.
Wow.
So
I like that. That sounds very clever.
Right. Now we were in Baltimore. Actually, we a bunch of people who work for the defense industry were laughing, and they picked up a bunch of issues to give out to their friends. This one over here is its own title. It's called The Hard Code. It's being drawn by Trevor Von Eden. He used to do Batman back in the 80s. And it's about an android detective and how they have to avert a war between man and machine in the future. So,
how long have you been working in the comic books, writing comic books?
Since February. Really? Yeah. So, but 20 years ago, I was an illustrator for Vortex Comics. And in '94, I'm not sure if you guys know, but the whole industry tanked. And I went into advertising, and I just recently decided, you know what, I got to give this another shot. It's now or never. So, and as a side story, just to show you how precious these second chances are, 4 weeks ago I had a triple bypass, but I was still able to. The doctor said it was okay for me to walk around New York Comic Con, and today was actually the first time I drove in 4 weeks, just to get up here from New York. So.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ramon.
Sure. Nice meeting you guys. Hope you guys enjoy the show.
You too. All right. So thanks to Ramon Gil for the interview, and we got his issues here.
Thanks, Ramon.
One of the things that Dark Horse has done is they've gotten some new Aliens comics because of the popularity of Prometheus, and also there's going to be a Prometheus 2, so there's going to be more about the alien universe coming.
So you like that one?
Yeah, I love the aliens.
Cool. I'm reading Green Lantern, which I'm glad I stuck with because it's going to be the only one left pretty soon. I'm also reading Atomic Robo whenever it comes out, which is a pretty neat series. Check it out. Atomic Robo has separate stories. They collect them in anthologies or trades, so if you missed anything, you just go back and pick up one, and that's pretty cool. I'm reading the Star Trek based on the 2009 movie, which is a pretty good series. Right now they're in the middle of doing something with characters from Deep Space Nine, which, by the way, celebrates its 20th anniversary this year.
Wow.
20 years of DS9. I didn't think I was that old, but
you are.
I am. Oh well.
Not as old as Chuckles, but
that's true.
You're old.
You guys are all young pups. That's all right.
That's true. So that Star Trek is good. We're good. Hang on. All right, you want to do yours and then I'll do mine because I got some other stuff too.
Yeah, I got a toy for you guys.
You have a toy?
Oh my goodness.
We're going to let Jay open it up.
We got a present
He's shaking.
from Chuckles.
It's a toy for all of you to share.
It's been nice knowing you.
Oh God.
Oh
smell
no.
that thing. You can share the eye.
Oh, I like it.
Don't read the note online though.
Is it going to explode?
Might.
It rattles.
It rattles. I like it.
I like it.
Don't read the letter on air. We'll get ripped off. But there's something else in there for you.
Okay, cool.
He's so nervous.
Maybe you can put that in your eye there, Jay.
There we go.
It's a little bit big. A little bit.
There you go. That's for you guys. A toy for you to share.
Should I show it?
What? There's nothing wrong with that.
Pull it out.
Oh,
it's a bloody finger.
I like it. We're not going to ask whose bloody finger it was, but that's okay.
There you go. There's a toy for you guys to play
Been on
with.
the Walking Dead set lately?
Maybe.
All right, now let me see. Since it's February and it's Valentine's Day during February.
Happy VD,
Happy
everybody.
VD, everybody. And all of us are lucky enough to be married and have wonderful relationships. So I thought I wasn't going to get too sappy. I thought I would get something for all you guys for Valentine's Day. So there's one for you, and then Chuckles, there's one for you.
Yeah.
And then we'll give you that one. And then let's see, we'll give you R2. And then Adam, we can't forget Adam, even though he's not married, but he's still part of the crew. So Adam, that one's for you, buddy. Here you go. A Pez dispenser for everybody.
And now you know why Adam was never in the baseball
There you go.
league.
All right, that's going to be it for the February edition of Sci-Fi Journal. Thank you very much for watching.
Hold on.
Oh, hang, we're not done yet?
We were talking about Valentine's Day.
All right.
And I will be remiss to not say this. Valentine's Day, February, it also happens to be my 10-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
So, my darling, wonderful wife, Leslie, thank you. And I love you.
There we go. Okay. Also, thanks to Miss Lacey and Mr. Dan for showing up today. Part of the audience. Let me hear audience. Hey, all right.
And of course, a big thanks to Chuckles for actually sitting in on this
That's
mess
right.
we call a
Okay.
show.
We hope you had an awful time.
I did have an awful time.
Okay, that's good.
Been an
Okay.
honor.
That's going to be it for this month.
You'll be welcome back anytime.
That's
if,
right.
If you want to really sit through this trek.
If the asylum lets me out, I'll be here.
Sounds good. Okay. We'll see you next month. Thanks for watching.